All right, Eat, Pray, Limbs back. I think it's match day 2021. Hard to figure out. We're trying to figure out why the schedule is all messed up. It's because of the Queen. The Queen died, so our schedule's all thrown off. No one knows what day it is. We got the full squad back. Za all the way back from Africa. Za, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. As I was saying just before, I mean, it's good to be back, but at the same time, I'm hating being back. Honestly, the Zimbabwe 500 times better than my life here in New York. So, and it's summertime. It's summertime down
Well,
there,
yeah.
dude. It's fucking freezing cold up here. I'm like over it.
You came back right in the middle of a polar vortex. It's not usually the way it goes.
Yeah, no, great timing by me.
Yeah, good time. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're back. I mean, I suppose we could have just done this remote if you were still in Zimbabwe. I'm not sure what your internet situation was there since you blew us off while you were abroad. But I'm glad you're back. Love the element from the show. Sam, how you doing?
I'm good. Just don't
You
ask
guys
me
are
about
not
Tottenham.
enthusiastic at all.
We
We got the run in. We got 18 games or so left. We got the run in. Transfer window's over. I love the board
Bro,
today.
it's squeaky bum time for some of us.
At gunpoint or something.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing, and I don't think Zod knows this yet. I'm officially, I'm a Manchester fan. Okay, yes, I'm a Tottenham fan, but right now I'm a Manchester fan. It's not United, it's not City. I'm just Manchester. Somebody gotta get these dubs because somebody's got to catch Arsenal. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're
Shut
a
your mouth.
runaway.
Shut your
runaway.
mouth.
They are a runaway freight train to the top
One
of the
game
table.
at a time. One game at a time. I mean, I was all gassing them up first half of the season. Now I am shitting myself. Right
Yeah,
now.
now you're getting nervous. Now it's like, wait, this is real.
Now
I went from being, we're gonna win the league, to now trying to calm people down to, all right, let's take it a game at a time, folks.
But you're pretty much. I mean, you're basically guaranteed top four.
Stop! Don't use that
What
G
could
word.
go
I
wrong?
don't like that G
What
word.
could go wrong?
Nothing is G word. Nothing is guaranteed.
You're 14 points clear of Spurs. Like you're in a great spot.
Now we're cooking, but again, it's the Premier League. Nothing is guaranteed. I've seen the same manager go on like an 9 game streak where he could not win a single game. So you got to take it one game at a time.
You're just knocking on wood.
Knock on wood. Hopefully, those are times of the past.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, now I feel like everything's kind of recalibrated a little bit after the window. We'll start with you, Sam. Who do you think had the best January transfer window? Who's looking strong for the run-in?
Well, the easy answer is Chelsea, right? They spent $500 million. So, everybody's going to kind of look at them and be like, well, they must have won the window. It'll be interesting to see. They took a big gamble. Obviously, they got some great talent that is coming in the door there. The team was, obviously, I mean, they're in like 10th right now. So obviously they had problems. They took this is a big risk, right? If they don't make Champions League this season, I mean, and some of these guys don't play out, they're going to have some issues. So, listen, it's a big gamble. I give some credit to Bowley for spending his balls off. We'll see how that works out. I got to give Arsenal a little credit. I mean, I think, they added some depth, which is exactly what they needed coming down the stretch because you guys are still playing in all these competitions. So as much as I want to shit on him, I don't like Jorginho. I don't like him, but I think he's probably a good player for you. And Trossard as well. Arsenal did well. I'll just give them that. Wolves, I think Wolves did well. They were terrible, absolutely terrible the first half. They added, I think, 5 or 6 players. Hopefully that gives them some spunk, some spark, because they had absolutely nothing.
12 goals through 20 games.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to switch things up. Those are the 3, I guess, that stood out to me as having a pretty good window, or at least interesting window, because I'm not willing to call Chelsea a winner yet. Yeah. That's a big gamble they're taking.
They outspent like the other 4 major leagues
combined.
Yeah. Right. Like
combined.
it's ridiculous.
But it's like they have if you look at their depth chart, right?
Bro,
I've seen that graphic going around. It's like if you took their second and third string and you had like 3 different starting 11s, be like, they're probably all finished around the middle of the table.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's seen the graphic that went. They've got like 4 players 3 or 4 players in each and every position.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, it's guys that are first team guys. Yes, it's guys that to get them there, they had to bring them on big salaries. But whether they still ball into the same levels that their names carry is a completely different story. But it's crazy. I mean, it's the financial fair play just let them buy how many 8-9 players, spend $600 million, and we're just going to keep it moving kind of deal. It's football's crazy now, man.
To their credit, though, they game the system, and the system,
I mean, the rules,
right? It's whack-a-mole. So they did this. They're going to give Modric like 8 years. We're going to give all these guys 7-8 year contracts, which is that's new for the EPL. That's an MLB thing. Boley brought over from the Dodgers. That's how they got around the FFA. The financial fair play. So we'll see. But there's good and bad to that, because you are then stuck with these players for a long time,
for 8 years
on a huge salary. So it's a big gamble.
How come no one is criticizing them for all these moves when Forest did basically the same thing at a lesser number and they just get shit on relentlessly?
So is Forest getting shit on, or is Chelsea getting shit on?
Forest got all the shit in August, and then people were having fun with them because they've had an unbelievable run of injuries, so they insulated that. Dean Henderson's out, so they brought in Navas. They've had all these different injuries.
Good signing, that was a very good.
I mean, that one's
business.
I mean, how many guys have that many Champions League trophies? He fits right in up in Nottingham. But it is like I don't. It feels like very hypocritical to me. Like Forrest goes out and signs a bunch of players, like, oh, like these guys are a mess, they're a disaster, this and that. Meanwhile, Chelsea does it to the nth degree. They're sitting 3 spots ahead of Forest. So like, where is the criticism for them?
It's all got to do with the timing. It's literally at the beginning of the season. You haven't seen anybody, so you're scared of everyone. Now we're halfway through the season. Chelsea could do well for this year at least. I don't know about going forward. That's going to be a completely different story. Chelsea could have signed God, and he wouldn't have fucking resurrected their season this season.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So
well, and that's what I mean. Like Sam, you were saying that they got to make Champions League basically to have this work out for them. They're sitting 10th. They're 10 points behind Manchester United. It's hard to imagine Newcastle would they just shut everybody down all the time. Manchester United is looking kind of like the vibes are good there. They got rid of a couple of problem guys, and including your boy Ronaldo, and they're smooth sailing. Ten Hag's got that thing going. It's hard to imagine a situation where not only did they leap over 5 other teams, but those other teams coming back to the pack enough for Chelsea to get in that top 4.
Bringing in guys like this and expecting them to hit the ground running, that's tough. That is really tough. So, same thing with Nottingham, by the way, with Forest. That's you've had that issue all season because you've had so many signings. It's tough to have have guys come in and just really fit into the, whatever Graham Potter is trying to do with the team.
Yeah. You have a situation where you've got a manager that's still trying to figure himself out within the club, where he stands, put his own imprint on the club. And then you got an influx of 9, 10, however many players that they bought this January, middle of the season, by the way. That's a big factor, because if you buy them beginning of the season, you at least have preseason to work with them in training and stuff. This is training camp. This is you're buying, for example, the record signing Enzo. That Fernandez guy is coming in. He's probably only had like 1 training session. Actually, they played a day, so he's had no training sessions, and he's expected to hit the ground running. So it's a big risk. It's a big risk that they took to try help them get to as you were pointing out, the whole 4th spot. If that goes up in flames, man, with how big some of these wages are, with Mudryk. 135,000 pounds a week kind of deal, whether you make it into the Champions League or not, that still has to be paid. If they don't make it into the Champions League, that's money coming out of Bowley's pocket. I mean, he may have it, but
I mean, they'll be able to offload some of these guys in the summer, right? Like there's been all kinds of Pulisic rumors, for a long time now. Like he's got to be able to fetch something. Like, can't you like kind of cobble it together where it's like, hey, like we have this is the reality of our roster now. But come July and August, we're gonna, I don't know, 10-20% of these guys who are listed on the fucking meme depth chart that they have going around.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be sold off. Correct? Like, isn't
That's-
that part of the game?
That's the plan. That's
Yeah.
the plan. How much and how aggressive. They're in a situation where they have 30, 35 first team players. Everyone knows that. How much and how aggressive they can be in negotiations for, you know, trying to get rid of their players. I don't think, because of their signings, I believe that lessens their leverage a bit in negotiations. Now it's turning into a fire sale now, so you can get guys on a heavy discount. But
Well, and especially because it seems like the other leagues just don't have the money that they did to throw around. I feel like back in the day, like call it 10 years ago, Real Madrid and Barcelona, they were, and PSG still does it, but like some of these bigger clubs around the world were like competing with the top EPL teams for these players, and now it just feels like, well, you've reached your pinnacle with Juventus, so go to fucking Bournemouth. You know, like it just seems like the scales have been tipped so far towards the Premier League that it just doesn't, like, the market is just not there the way it was internationally for some of these guys. So that's how it seems anyways.
Well, the writing has been on the wall for years now because of these TV contracts, which if you look at sort of the size of them for, you know, EPL versus La Liga versus Liga 1, especially, it's night and day, right? And they also, the way the EPL does it, and they sort of spread it around, it's we've known this day was coming. And, you know, we're still sort of in early days in terms of like what this means, because EPL is turning into the Super League. It's turning into exactly what we've sort of been, you know, fighting against. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's tough. You can't put a salary cap on teams when there's promotion and relegation. You can't like tie somebody's hands behind their back when they're about to get relegated. So I don't know how things will work out, but we're in an interesting period right now.
Not to mention the whole influx now, to the broadcasting angle, the influx of internet money. The internet companies are now going to be bidding for the rights and all that, and that's going to change the game even more, because these guys, I mean, for example, Apple, if Apple was a country, they would have like the 20th biggest fucking cash reserves on the planet, the ridiculous stuff like that. And those are the guys that, you know, want a piece of these live sporting rights. So it's interesting times, man. I mean, La Liga, they whole structure, they revenue structure, giving Barcelona and Real Madrid 40% of it, and the rest sharing the rest kind of deal. Not looking too sustainable now. I mean, Barca also fucked themselves with the big contracts, with the Messi contract that they gave to him that literally crippled the club. Yeah, so it's interesting, man.
Let me ask you guys another, like, kind of a hypothetical philosophical question. Let's just say, alternate universe, all the big money is in one of the other leagues. So pick which one you want, Serie A. Like, let's just say the financial situation. Do you think that there is something to the American market where it'll always be more popular here because the names of the teams sound familiar? It doesn't feel like the Bundesliga, La Liga, and Serie A have captured the American interest the way that the EPL has. And I'm wondering if it's because the EPL is so much better, or if it's because there is like this common culture language situation going on.
Nah, you know what it was? The NBC rights deal. That's what changed everything for the EPL here in America. That's when. So
NBC, you think if Serie A got that deal first, that Serie A would be sitting in a preferred position the way
probably, but Serie A never would have gotten that deal, right? The reason the NBA and NBC deal came together was because of that sort of commonality.
Is just a good product.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so if the other leagues got here first, would they be as popular as the Premier League?
Right.
I mean, that you can't say with any certainty. If you're asking me for my opinion, absolutely not. I think entertainment wise, I think the Premier League is a better product, just because of the style style of football and also the level of competition too within the Premier League. Americans love stories and they love upsets. You know, you've got, just as NBC got the rights, you've got the story of Leicester coming from League Two and winning the whole championship. Now we have a story that we're following here. The one that's, you know, that if these guys are smart, will milk money out of that whole Ryan Reynolds' clubs, the Wrexham story.
Wrexham, yeah.
That's becoming a whole storyline in its own. I mean, we're pretty much going to be watching this team go up the English ladder for things. So those other leagues just don't do. I guess Spain, you've got the Barca Madrid stuff. Italy, you've got like the mob stuff, the match fixing scandals that will play, but I don't know if they can go like
they only have Bayern. Like Bayern's the only team that like they've won it 8 years in a row. It's like that league kind of stinks.
The other element is right. Bundesliga, you just think of Bayern. There's Bayern and the other guys. EPL, like,
I feel like
granted, not a ton of teams have won, but there's more in the mix.
Yeah. Well, now it's like there's a big 7 in the Premier League, but I also feel like that there used to be more good teams, or the Bundesliga used to be more competitive like 15 years ago, where it's like Dortmund, Schalke was like a better, stronger team back then.
Schalke
like
was in the mix.
Yeah.
Werder Bremen was pretty good too.
Yep.
Bayer Leverkusen, you're right. I think, and I think that had to do a lot with the whole TV money, the whole the Champions League. Bayern was big. Bayern had the financial reserves. They were doing well in the Champions League. They established their reputation in there, and that builds a legacy and generates money for
yeah. Well, all right. That's interesting. You guys have final thoughts on the window or anything like that before we get into some of these games talking about money?
Yeah, just some losers. Everton, gotta call them a loser.
They didn't do anything.
Gordon and they're a loser on paper, but then you also call them a winner because Lampard was not doing anything for them, and maybe Dyche will turn that around.
Do you think he can? I saw your post on Instagram today. He's just making them run win sprint.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we get in. I'll save my thoughts on this.
All right.
And just real quick on our window. This is actually first I'm letting my thoughts, because I haven't spoken about this on Back Again. I think we had a decent window. We plugged holes. Ideally, in a couple situations, I would have loved to see players that can, so like in the Partey situation, I would have loved for us to get a player that can actually compete and really push Partey for that starting spot. But it looks like we got decent depth in Jorginho. Arteta admires him. Kivor, we added that left-footed center back. Arteta likes him too. We got players that Arteta likes, and Arteta over the past 2-3 windows that he's had with Edu has, I mean, in my eyes, has built up some change where he's earned my trust in saying if he wants his player, it's fine. So we'll see how the Jorginho thing works out. I don't know what the noise was with Arsenal fans that when we got him, the guy is not coming to start. Our starter is Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Our starter is Thomas Partey. The plan ideally, if it works out, is Thomas Partey will play all 19, however many games left, 19, 20 games, however many are left. Partey will be starting those. We didn't buy Jorginho to be a starter. We bought him to be, if we need a plug and play, stopgap here and there, give Partey a rest for a game or two, he can come in and not the level drop. So I'm not ecstatic. I'm not like jumping around like we just signed the world's greatest player, but at the same time, I'm okay with that one.
Well, you also don't have to do anything drastic when you're sitting on top.
There we go. That's another thing. People having meltdowns on the fucking internet like we're not 5 points clear.
Arsenal fans, flipping out over nothing.
When we signed Jorginho, you would have thought the world was going to end or something. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? We're still top of the league.
You just don't feel comfortable with it. You feel more comfortable when you're not top of the league.
Yeah. As sad as that sounds, Sam, you are 1,000% correct. I don't like this. I don't like this top of the league life, man. Everybody's just looking at you. You are a target. Sometimes people usually when we're not top of the league, people will miss and forget that Arsenal's playing here and there. Now every single game week, people are watching our game. I don't like that.
Yeah, all eyes on you.
I do not like that at all.
You'd rather be miserable. You'd rather be miserable. You're more comfortable being miserable.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that, but at the same time, I don't like the situation.
All right. Well, we've been going for 20 minutes. We haven't talked about any games yet, so let's get after it. There's a game going on right now since the show pushes out at 2:00. It's the Fulham Chelsea game. Quickly, since the bets won't be out in time, but I want a quick prediction based on everything, the big conversation we just had with Chelsea, and Fulham just keeps surprising people.
I like both teams to score in this game.
Oh,
I
you
would
do?
have loved it. I would have loved it if Felix was available, but he's, I think, still on red card suspension.
Mm-hmm.
The next week or two, maybe even 3, it's going to be tough to have a read on teams, right? They're going to be sort of moving in these new guys, especially Chelsea. And so it's going to be a little tough. I look at Chelsea's lineup and I think that they got goals, at least 1 or 2, at a minimum. And I know that Fulham has been like an under bettors, dream all season. I think that they're like one of the top, I think like 70% that they've been under. I think that they can score. They got Mitrovic out there. Mm-hmm. He's healthy. I like both teams to score. If you put like a gun to my head, what do you think the score is going to be? It would be like probably 1-1.
1-1. Okay. Zah, you got anything on that?
I've got no read on Chelsea. As Sam alluded to, I don't even know who's going to be playing.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think Enzo's ready.
That's the thing. It's because they signed 9 players. You don't know who the hell's going to start and all that. So that one I had no read on whatsoever.
That's why it kind of feels like a little bit of an upset spot for Fulham.
It's a perfect upset spot because you've got a whole lineup of players that have never played together. They've never played together. They've never played under this one manager. So it's
Fulham is plus 500. Plus 500.
Let me put it this way: these next couple of weeks, I will not be betting on Chelsea.
Okay, all right. So I like both teams to score. And I'm leaning towards Fulham, but I haven't put anything in yet. We'll go to you, Zah. Zah, the first game tomorrow is Everton against Arsenal. You're away. What do you have any thoughts on that? Are you betting that game? You feel like that's a curb stomping?
See, Zah's just too nervous right now. He doesn't even want to offer something. I got some strong thoughts on this, but I want to hear what Zah thinks first.
One game at a time. I unfortunately do not bet on any Arsenal games whatsoever because I can't think objectively with Arsenal. I'll be betting on Arsenal even against like the World 11 type of deal. How do I feel about this game? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how we bounce back from because we just played. We played Man City, lost to Man City. We'd been on a good run and all, and Man City stopped that run. Granted, we changed our team like crazy. There were like 5 changes. Man City only had like 1, 5 or 6 changes. Man City only had like 1. Thomas Partey is key. I haven't seen anything on whether he will be playing tomorrow or not. I'll definitely check after this, after the show. I think Arteta had I haven't seen his press conference yet, but Partey's fitness will be key. I think we get past Everton. It's an Everton team that just has a new manager. So it's the time. It's a good time to be playing Everton right now. Sean Dyche has just come in.
It's always a good time to be playing Everton.
But even better now with no new manager. Be wary of the new manager bounce. Players might be wanting to impress the new guy. But I feel like this is a good spot to be playing him. I'm going in confidently. I think we win tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just hard to get value out of that. They're minus 265 on the road, so then it's like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you gas it up with the over as well, then you get to plus money. But it's hard to extrapolate something out. You're grinning like you got something there. So.
I got some strong thoughts on this, and it's going.
God, he's gonna
go very different direction.
He's going to upset, isn't he?
I'm not gonna call it lock of a lifetime, but I love this bet. First of all, if you want one bet all weekend, it's going to be Everton Arsenal under. Okay. Everton's defense is not that bad. They got Sean Dyche coming in. He is just a lockdown your defense type of guy, right? You got a new manager bounce. It's that early kickoff. That time slot is notorious for low scoring games. Like it statistically, it really is. I think this game has under written all over it. Then you got the new manager bounce. If you really want to get spicy with it, you could maybe mix in like a draw, maybe a 0-0, 1-1 draw. But I love the under.
You don't 0-0. You don't think there's many goals in this?
Listen, Deitch has the biggest bus in the history of buses right now, and he's backing it into Madison Park. Like they're gonna have 10 in the box. They'll have Calvert-Lewin, if he's even healthy, up at half field, and the other 10 are going to be in the 18-yard box, maybe even in front of the goal. This game has underwritten all over it for me.
So the under is plus money, and then if you say you like the draw,
like it, don't love it, like it.
That gets you to plus 460. That could be a sprinkle.
That is,
parlay.
Parlay it.
Yeah,
parlay under and the draw.
Yeah.
I love the draw. I mean, I love the under. But if you want to get a little spicy with, throw the draw in there too.
Okay. Anything else? Any other games sticking out to you, Za?
The one that I was going to play, and I'm still thinking about it, but I think I'm going to play this. This is the one pick that I had for the people. Of course, I mean the big one. The big one is the one on Sunday. You guys talking
when are we going to get our?
But I thought you were talking Forest Leeds.
That Forest Leeds, big game.
It is a big game. It is a big game.
But the one I was looking at was actually a total. The total. I just for some reason this game week I'm just not seeing sides. I'm not seeing sides as clearly as I'd love to see them. But I was gonna play the total in the Wolves Liverpool game. I think the Liverpool defense is in absolute shambles. I don't know if Van Dijk is out. I don't even know who's going to be starting. It's probably going to be Matip and Gomez, who, my God, put Trent on their right side. That's like three guys that are defenders that I don't think can even defend. So it's that one. That one is smelling like a lot of goals.
The big question then is, can Wolves score?
Right?
Because they've been so bad for all season. Can they actually score? And I think you're right. I don't mind the over in that game, because you could get it from Liverpool alone. Yeah. And then get a goal or two from Wolves, and you're golden.
A goal or two from Wolves.
And listen, obviously that was it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Anything is possible.
Exactly.
All right. So you like the over in that? The over is 2.5. That's minus money, minus 134. So the book kind of agrees with you. What about you, Sam? You got anything you got your eyeball on?
Yeah, those Sunday games. I'm expecting goals. I think there's goals in both the Nottingham Leeds game and the Tottenham City game. Probably most of them from City.
How do you feel about your game?
Honest. Feel about what?
How do you feel about your guys' game?
I think we're gonna get smoked. I would say
I don't know.
3-1. 3-1 City. I like the over. I know. Listen, we got to hit the track record of playing them well. That first 45, that last time we played them, we looked better than we'd looked all season, if not multiple seasons. But at the end of the day, it's still Tottenham, lads. It's Tottenham, and we're just not. I know. I liked our transfer business. We brought in some guys that actually filled some holes, but I think Conte just had surgery. I don't know if he's actually going to be on the touchline.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be.
It just doesn't feel like a game that Tottenham is going to get a result from, and City can do damage. So I like City, say 3-1. I like the over in that.
Smoked.
Yeah,
and you like the over in the Forest game too?
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe parlay those two together, which I don't know what you get with the odds there.
Yeah. So if you parlay the over with what?
Both overs.
Oh, both overs. Yeah, let's check it out. I am I don't know what to make of Forest in that game, because
you scared of Weston McKennie, the American boy. I mean, Leeds may as well just become the U.S. U.S. men's USMNT, right? Men's,
yeah. But I mean, look at that. Now they've got a pretty competent midfield with Adams. We've seen that Adams, McKennie, Aronson kind of works, but it's more on the Forest side, where they have so many injuries. Morgan Gibbs White is out, Taiwo's out, Kate's been out the whole year. Now Ryan Yates has some kind of mystery illness, so he's been kind of like he's like one of the captains of the team. He's out. They brought in John Joe Shelby. They brought in Danilo. They got in Scarpa. Jesse Lingard. He was coming back. He got hurt in warmups in the FA in the.
I haven't watched Forest yet because I was out in Zim. How was Danilo? Because we were.
Oh, he looks.
Were in for him apparently during the last, not this January, but the August transfer window.
I mean, he's come right in and he starts and he looks like an athlete. He looks like he's going to be a Premier League guy for a long time. He's definitely an upgrade over what they had. So I when everybody's healthy, how this all comes together, I don't know. And I don't even know how it comes together now, because now it's probably going to be they sign Wood from Newcastle to be like your kind of traditional target man 9. But he had one game. His first game wasn't overly impressive. So it's like, is he ready to go after a few weeks of training? But it'll probably be Wood next to Johnson up top and then Scarpa behind him. And it's like, it's a combination of forwards that have basically no time together. And then same thing with the midfield. You're going to have Danilo. I don't know what their 3 will be, because with Yates, it'll be Danilo, Freuler, and somebody, maybe Mangala, maybe Shelby if he's ready. Like, I don't know. It's going to be, so it's hard to know exactly how it's going to be cobbled together because they've had so many. It's almost like it feels like the beginning of the season again, which kind of worries me because it really started coming together in October and they've shot up the table. They went from 20th to 13th in like a month and a half and everybody's feeling good. And then Taiwo goes out, Lingard goes out, Morgan Gibbs White goes out, all Yates goes out. So all your guys that you've been like building this core and this cohesion with are now injured, and you have a totally new influx of players taking their place. It's like, I don't know how it's going to go. But Danilo and Scarpa, the 2 Palmeiras guys from Brazil, have both looked very good. But it's still a big spot. And this is a big game. It's a big game in that, I'd love to think that Forest is clear of that relegation zone, sitting 13th, but they're in 13th with 21 points. Leeds is right behind them with a game in hand at 18 points. So if Leeds goes into City Ground and gets a win, well, then now that's another team that you're going to have a hard time catching in the run in here because Forest is running. So this is like a monster game.
It's tight down there.
Bournemouth has 17 points in there.
It's tight down there.
So
I know.
It is tight down there. From Palace down, no one's safe. From 12 down.
Probably you could throw Palace in that group, but I feel like they're better than these teams behind them. I think Palace is probably safe, but Forest at 21 and Southampton, who I thought Southampton had a decent window, they're at 20th at 15. Like I don't know. So if Forest wins this weekend, I'll be feeling great because those guys are going to come back. They're but if they can win with whatever lineup they put on Sunday, and then they start. You get your best player, Morgan Gibbs White, back. You get Taiwo back. You get some of these guys back in the mix. But this might have to be like welcome to Forest Keeler Navas, because I think he's going to have some work cut out for him in this game.
Working overtime.
Yeah.
Double
digits. I'm nervous. It might be the first time all year that I don't bet on Forest. I'm just staying away. So.
At Forest too. Well, if there's like big trends, big themes that I was thinking about coming into this weekend, given the transfer window just closed and all this sort of upheaval in the squads, like I think underdogs and unders, if you're just sort of generally thinking what should I look at, underdogs and unders probably are what you're looking at.
Good spot.
I can't really get down with unders. Other than that, my lack of a lifetime sort of with Everton and Arsenal, I have a tough time rooting for shitty games.
Yeah, and I should say that the one I'm still gonna ride with Newcastle. So Newcastle's got West Ham. Newcastle's at home. That's my kind of bet of the week.
West Ham playing terrible.
What's that?
West Ham's been playing terrible.
Yeah, speaking of teams that didn't have great windows, like they went out and got Danny Ings, who I thought was a nice move, and then he immediately got injured in his first game, which actually kind of has a track record of that. Yeah. So West Ham, they got too much talent to go down, but jeez. But
they're trending that way in a hurry, and I feel like you can get some value. I think it's going to be a shutout. Okay, so if you bet Newcastle and then both teams to score is a no, If you parlay those, you get it up to 135. And I might find something else to throw in there. But that to me just feels Newcastle is just safe. It's just safe. They're it's like having your hands at 10-2. It's not exciting, but you're going to keep that car on the road. You're going to keep in the green, and you're going to be just fine. You're just driving down the road like that.
Driving Miss Daisy to plus
all this other
each
chaos going on around you. You just grab Newcastle at 10-2 and ride it to the money, and ride it right to the bank, and you'll be fine.
I like it. I like it. Before we finish, there's one sort of future bet that I like, and I don't have an explanation for this, but bringing Dyche in, I think Everton are going to be safe. You can get them to not get relegated for plus money right now. I think it's plus 125. I have no real explanation for it. Like the evidence, I don't have a good one. It's just a gut feeling that Dyche is going to come in. He's going to lock it down. He's going to, just do what Dyche does, which is basically what Big Sam does, just slightly, more gingery. And I think he's going to keep Everton up. I have a feeling in my plums that they're staying up now.
All right. Well, then I'm going to make you give me 3 teams that are going down because I can't come up with a third.
Bournemouth, I think, is going down, although they actually did some good transfer business to their credit. They did. I think Bournemouth is going down. I think Southampton is going down. Then it gets dicey. Then it gets real dicey. I guess I'll stick with Wolves for right now because I don't know how. Like I know they brought in a bunch of guys, and trying to do something is better than doing nothing if you're in their spot because they were just absolutely garbage. But until I see sort of them do something and show us something, I'm keeping Wolves in the relegation zone for me right now.
I think Everton has earned their place down there.
Oh yeah. They definitely have.
You're not the first person I've heard say that people believe in Dyche and that he's gonna get those lads running.
There's no reason to believe that Everton is gonna get out of the relegation
right.
zone.
That's what I mean. They seem of all the teams in England, maybe all the teams in Europe, to have the most drama off the field.
Oh, it's toxic. And their financial situation is shit. It's a terrible, terrible time to be a tough.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
The fans are not happy.
Yeah, and they fire the board. They put the woman in the headlock, the CEO in a headlock.
Did you guys see when they also try to beat up Lampard? That was funny.
It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. So it's like you need. I can't. Like Wolves tried to do something. I think Everton might finish 20th. Like I think that they're that bad. Like they're in that it's dire straits there. So
it's bad. It's bad. Yeah. That's why you can get them for plus money to get out of the relegation zone. So that's what this is a future. It's all about gut. There's no real factual evidence behind it. It's just a feeling. It's a feeling I got.
All righty. All right. Well, with that, I think we'll wrap there. So I think that's the lesson. It's been the lesson every week. Newcastle 10-2. Just grab it, drive it to the bank. You're going to be fine. Find something else to sprinkle in there this week. It's nobody to score, or not both teams not to score, rather, because they're shutting people out. They do it every week. They're awesome. Like they're like a perfect team. So you just keep that going. That was like the one little ball tickler from the transfer window when they had St. Maximin linked to Forest, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Oh yeah,
you have him and Johnson. What's that? You were in Zimbabwe. You didn't.
I forgot. Yeah, I was so upset. I did not give a damn about following football news. I was out on safari, hanging out, doing all kind of Zimbabwean shit.
The Forest did get another African guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. Bournemouth got the Zimbabwean guy, not Forest.
No. We got the Ghanaian. But it was one of Cooper's guys. So it's just like, after the window, let's just keep bringing in guys. Rules don't apply to us.
Andre Ayew.
Yeah. So
his dad was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, African footballer ever.
Ooh.
I thought it was Weah.
I was gonna say Weah.
He's up there with Weah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Newcastle. That's the bet. And we'll sprinkle somebody out.
Everton, Arsenal under.
Liverpool Wolves
and that one too. So we'll cobble all those together. We'll put out a massive parlay. It's definitely going to hit. I actually love the board this weekend, but I'm stupid. So that's it for Limbs this week. Thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, guys.